Divine Feminine. I need to talk to you about something that haunts me, something that keeps me awake at night, something that I carry like a stone in my chest every single day. The words I didn't say. Not just one moment, not just one missed opportunity, but hundreds of them, thousands maybe. All those times when the truth was right there, when love was begging to be spoken, when vulnerability was knocking at my door, and I turned away. I chose silence. I chose safety. I chose fear over courage. And now those unspoken words haunt me like ghosts. I pulled 3 cards to understand what I wish I had said to you, what truths I should have spoken, what declarations I should have made, what vulnerability I should have offered. The 4 of Wands, Temperance, the 8 of Pentacles. And these cards are devastating, because they're showing me exactly what you needed to hear, exactly what would have made everything different, exactly what I was too scared to say. This is my confession about the words I held back, the truths that stayed locked in my throat, the love I felt but couldn't speak. This is what I wish I had said. 4 of Wands, the celebration and commitment. I wish I'd promised. The first truth I held back from you was the simplest and yet felt impossible at the time. I want to celebrate you. I want to build a home with you. I want to commit to you. I want everyone to know you're mine. The 4 of Wands is about celebration, stability, homecoming, and public declaration of commitment. And that's exactly what I should have offered you instead of silence and uncertainty. There were so many moments when those words were right there on my tongue. You're not just someone I'm seeing. You're the person I want to build a life with. But I swallowed them back down every single time. When you'd ask where this was going, I'd deflect with, "Let's just see what happens," when what I really wanted to say was, "When I imagine my future, you're in every single vision, the home I want to create, the stability I'm working toward, the celebration of life itself, it all includes you." But I didn't say any of that, and I need you to understand why. The 4 of Wands represents a milestone, a commitment, a declaration, and I was terrified of that level of visibility, of that level of permanence, of making promises I wasn't sure I could keep. My mind kept racing with worst-case scenarios. What if I fail? What if I commit to building this with you and then I'm not good enough? What if I promise you a home and I can't provide it? What if I celebrate us publicly and then something goes wrong and everyone sees me fail? So instead of speaking those words of commitment, I stayed vague. I kept things undefined. I let you wonder where you stood with me while I was over here knowing exactly where you stood, right at the center of everything I wanted for my future. The words that should have come out were, "I know we're not there yet, but you need to know where this is heading for me. I see you in my future. I see us building something real together. I see celebration and stability and home. With you." Every time I imagined the 4 of Wands in my life, that moment of joy, that sense of arrival, that feeling of we made it, you were standing there beside me under those wands, celebrating with me but telling you, that felt like exposing my entire heart with no protection. You deserve to hear. You're not just someone I'm dating. You're the person I want to make a life with. Those words existed fully formed in my heart, but fear kept them locked away. The terror was real. Saying it out loud would make it too real, too vulnerable, too much pressure. If I declared what I wanted with you, and then couldn't deliver it, I'd be a failure in your eyes and mine. The 4 of Wands is about celebration, and I should have celebrated you more openly, celebrated us, celebrated what we were building even in its early stages. The truth I held back was that I wanted to throw open the doors and say to the world, "This is my person." Instead, I kept you hidden. Not because I was ashamed, God, never that, but because I was protecting myself, protecting my fear, protecting my uncertainty about whether I deserved to have something this good. The truth that died in my throat over and over. I'm scared of how much I want this with you. I'm scared of how much I want to build a home with you, create stability with you, celebrate life with you. But being scared doesn't change what's true. You're what I want. That vulnerability felt like too much to reveal. Here's what my silence cost us. You were left wondering if I was serious about you. You were left questioning whether you mattered to me. You were left in this liminal space of not knowing if I saw a future with you or if you were just temporary. And that wasn't fair to you. You deserved to know that when I looked ahead, I saw you. You deserved to know that the Four of Wands in my future had your name written all over it. The words, "I want to marry you someday," or at the very least, "I want to build toward that with you," should have been spoken out loud. You weren't just for now. You were who I wanted forever with. Let's celebrate us. Let's tell people. Let's make this official. Let's build something stable together. These sentences formed in my mind constantly, but never made it to my lips. And I need you to know how much I regret that silence. Because you were standing there, open and vulnerable and brave, and you deserved words of commitment in return. You deserved to hear that you weren't alone in envisioning a future together. You deserve the celebration and security that the Four of Wands represents. The Four of Wands is also about homecoming, the feeling of finally arriving somewhere you belong. And the truth I kept inside was, "You feel like home to me." The words that should have changed everything. With you, I feel like I've finally found where I belong. You're not just a person I love. You're my home. But those words felt too vulnerable, too revealing, too much like admitting just how deeply you'd gotten under my skin and into my heart. So I stayed quiet, and in my silence, you felt uncertain, unstable, uncelebrated. And I'm so sorry for that. If I could go back, I would say all of it. I would tell you about the home I see us building, the life I see us celebrating, the commitment I want to make, the stability I want to create with you. The truth is, you're not just someone I care about. You're the person I want to build my entire future around. That's what the Four of Wands is showing me I held back. That's the celebration and commitment I should have spoken out loud, and I hope it's not too late to say it now. Temperance. The patience I should have asked. For the second truth I held back from you was this. Please be patient with me. I need time to find my balance, but that doesn't mean I'm not committed to getting there. It just means I need you to walk this middle path with me. Temperance is about patience, balance, moderation, and the slow integration of opposing forces. And that's exactly what I should have asked you for instead of just disappearing or going hot and cold without explanation. There were so many moments when I should have been honest about what was happening inside me. I need time, but not time away from you. Time to find my balance while still being connected to you. That truth was right there, but I couldn't articulate it. When things got intense and I'd pull back, what you needed to hear was, "This intensity between us is overwhelming me, and I need to learn how to integrate it into my life without losing myself. Can you be patient with me while I figure that out?" My hot and cold behavior must have been maddening. The explanation you deserved was, "I know I'm going back and forth. I know it seems like I can't make up my mind. But it's not about you. It's about me trying to find the middle ground between all these intense feelings and my need for stability. But I didn't say any of that, and I need you to understand why. Temperance represents the need for balance, for taking things slowly, for integrating opposites. And I felt all of that. I felt the need to slow down, to find equilibrium, to blend my old life with this new, overwhelming love. But I didn't know how to communicate it. So instead of asking for patience and explaining what I needed, I just went silent. I pulled away. I created distance without any explanation. And you were left thinking I didn't care, when the truth was I cared so much it was destabilizing my entire existence. The words that needed to be spoken. You've turned my world upside down in the most beautiful and terrifying way. And I need time to integrate you into my life without losing myself in the process. Temperance is about alchemy, about mixing two things together slowly and carefully to create something new. And that's what I needed to do with us. I needed to blend the life I had before you with the life I wanted with you, and that takes time. That takes patience. That takes careful, conscious effort. But explaining that felt like admitting weakness, like admitting I wasn't handling the intensity as well as a man should. So I said nothing and just tried to manage it on my own. The truth I held back. I'm trying to find the middle way between running toward you with everything I have and running away to protect myself. The extremes feel dangerous. I'm looking for the path that lets me love you without losing myself. You needed to hear that I wasn't rejecting you when I pulled back. The words that would have made such a difference. When I need space, it's not because I don't want you. It's because I need to recalibrate. I need to find my center again so I can show up for you more fully. Temperance is about the slow pouring of one vessel into another. About taking your time. About not rushing the process. And that's what I needed. Time to let you in gradually, at a pace I could handle. But asking for that pace felt like asking you to wait for me, and I didn't feel I had the right to ask that of you. So instead, I just created confusing patterns of closeness and distance without any explanation. The conversation we should have had. I need us to build this slowly. Not because you're not worth rushing for, but because I want to do this right. I want to integrate you into every part of my life in a way that's sustainable. And that takes time. Temperance is also about healing, about the slow medicine, about patience with the process. And I was healing while we were together, healing old wounds, old patterns, old fears. But I didn't tell you that's what I was doing. The vulnerability I should have offered. I'm working through some things, old patterns, old hurts, and I need patience while I heal these parts of myself so I can love you the way you deserve. You might have been willing to be patient with me. You might have understood if I'd only explained. But I didn't give you that chance. I just went silent and expected you to somehow intuitively understand what I was going through. Temperance shows two cups pouring liquid back and forth, finding the right mix. And that's what I needed to tell you we were doing, finding the right mix of togetherness and individuality, of intensity and calm, of vulnerability and protection, of moving forward and taking our time. The honesty you deserved. I'm learning how to love you without losing myself. I'm learning how to be close to you without abandoning my boundaries. I'm learning how to give you what you need while also honoring what I need. And that learning process is messy and slow. Temperance is about the middle path, and that's what I was trying to walk. Not too hot, not too cold, not too much, not too little, not rushing in, not running away. But walking that middle path alone without telling you that's what I was doing meant you experienced it as me being inconsistent, unclear, uncommitted. The truth that would have changed everything. I'm all in, but I need to be all in at a sustainable pace. Can you be patient with that? Can you trust that moving slowly doesn't mean I don't want this just as much as you do? That question should have been asked out loud. Your answer should have been heard. But I kept it all inside and made decisions for both of us, based on what I thought you'd say rather than actually asking. Temperance is also about divine timing, about trusting the process, about knowing that things unfold in their right timing. And I needed to tell you. I believe in divine timing. I believe we'll get where we're meant to be. But I also believe in honoring the pace that feels right, rather than forcing things. The explanation that would have saved us so much confusion. When I pull back, doesn't mean I've changed my mind about you. It means I'm recalibrating. Give me a little space, and I'll come back more centered, more clear, more present. You deserve to know that my pulling back was part of my process of finding balance, not a sign that I was losing interest. The reassurance that needed to be spoken, you're not losing me when I take space. I'm finding myself so I can show up better for us. Temperance asks us to be patient with the alchemical process of transformation. And I was transforming. We both were. But transformation takes time, and I should have asked you to be patient with the timing of it. The truth I held back. This is real for me. This matters to me. But I need to honor my own pace in stepping into it fully. Please don't interpret my need for time as a lack of interest. It's the opposite. I care so much that I want to do this right. If I could go back, I would have that vulnerable conversation. I would ask for patience, instead of just taking it without explanation. I would explain what I needed, instead of expecting you to somehow know. The words that should have been spoken. Walk this middle path with me. Be patient with my process. Trust that I'm moving toward you even when it doesn't look like it. And know that my need for balance doesn't diminish my desire for you. It's actually because the desire is so strong that I need to learn how to hold it. That's what temperance is showing me I should have said. That's the patience I should have asked for out loud instead of just taking it in silence. And I hope it's not too late for that honest conversation now. 8 of Pentacles. The work you never knew about. The third truth I held back from you, and maybe the most important one, is this. I was working on myself every single day. I was dedicating myself to becoming better, to healing, to transforming into the man who could actually handle what we have. But I never told you, and you deserve to know. The 8 of Pentacles is about dedication, skill building, craftsmanship, and the slow, steady work of mastering something new. And that's exactly what I was doing. Mastering myself, learning new patterns, building new skills for love and life. But I did it all in silence, and you had no idea. There were countless moments when I should have let you see the work I was doing. When you were frustrated with my absence or my emotional unavailability, the truth you needed to hear was, I'm not just disappearing. I'm in therapy. I'm journaling. I'm meditating. I'm reading books about attachment and healing. I'm actively working on becoming better. But admitting that felt like admitting I was broken, like confessing that I wasn't good enough as I was. So I kept all that work private and let you think I was just living my life, unchanged and unconcerned. The 8 of Pentacles shows a craftsman bent over his work, completely focused on perfecting his skill, and that was me, bent over the work of healing myself, totally absorbed in the process of transformation. But from the outside, it looked like I was just busy with other things, like you didn't matter enough for me to prioritize you. When the truth was, everything I was doing was for you, for us, for the possibility of a future where I could show up as the partner you deserved. The words that should have been spoken. I know I'm not showing up the way you need right now, but I want you to know I'm actively working on that. I'm in therapy dealing with my commitment issues. I'm learning about my attachment style. I'm healing the wounds that make me run from intimacy. That vulnerability, that admission that I was actively working on my issues, could have changed everything. You would have known that my absence wasn't indifference. It was dedication to growth. The Eight of Pentacles represents apprenticeship, learning a new skill from scratch, putting in the hours, doing the repetitive work that slowly builds mastery. And that's what I was doing with emotional availability, with vulnerability, with communication. Learning it like a new language, practicing it daily even though I wasn't good at it yet. But letting you see that learning process felt too exposing. Admitting I'm bad at this, but I'm trying to get better, felt like showing you my inadequacy. So I hid the work and only wanted to show you the finished product, the honesty you deserved. I'm an apprentice at this kind of love. I'm learning how to do it. And just like any apprentice, I'm clumsy and I make mistakes. But I'm showing up every day to practice. I'm dedicating myself to this craft of loving you well. The Eight of Pentacles is about repetition, doing the same work over and over until you master it. And that's what my healing looked like. Going to therapy week after week, doing the same inner work repeatedly, confronting the same patterns and slowly rewiring them. But you never saw any of that. The explanation that would have made such a difference. Every day, I'm doing the work. Every day, I'm chipping away at the walls I've built. Every day, I'm learning how to be more open, more present, more available. It's slow work, but it's happening. You might have been more patient if you'd known. You might have had more hope if you'd understood that I wasn't static. I was actively changing, actively growing, actively becoming. The Eight of Pentacles shows someone so focused on their craft that they're not looking up. And that was my mistake. I was so focused on the internal work that I forgot to communicate what I was doing. I forgot that you needed to see that I was trying. The truth I held back. I'm learning how to love someone without running. I'm unlearning the patterns that have destroyed my past relationships. I'm rebuilding myself from the ground up so I can be what you need me to be. That dedication, that effort, that daily commitment to growth, you deserve to know about it. The words that should have come out. I know it doesn't look like I'm changing, but I am. Every single day. Slowly but surely, I'm becoming someone who can handle the intensity of what we have. The Eight of Pentacles is also about taking pride in your work. And I was proud of the work I was doing on myself. Proud of going to therapy. Proud of facing my demons. Proud of the progress I was making, even when it was invisible to others. But false modesty or shame or fear kept me from sharing that pride with you. The honesty that was missing. I'm proud of the work I'm doing on myself. I'm proud that I'm facing things I've avoided my whole life. And I'm doing it because I want to be worthy of you. The Eight of Pentacles represents quality over speed, doing the work right rather than doing it fast. And that's what I was committed to. Not a quick fix, but deep, lasting transformation. But you needed to hear that explained. I'm not taking the easy way out. I'm not slapping a Band-Aid on my issues. I'm doing deep work, and deep work takes time. But it's the kind of work that creates lasting change. The card shows someone crafting pentacles, creating something of value through skill and effort. And that's what I was doing. Creating a new version of myself. Crafting a man who could sustain intimacy, who could stay when things got hard, who could love without fear. But letting you see that process felt too vulnerable, the truth that needed to be shared. I'm literally rebuilding myself, taking apart old patterns and constructing new ones. It's messy work, it's slow work, but it's the most important work I've ever done. The Eight of Pentacles is about mastery through practice, and I was practicing new behaviors every day, practicing vulnerability, practicing emotional expression, practicing staying present instead of running. But I practiced alone, in private, and you never saw the effort. What you needed to know: every time you don't hear from me, I'm not ignoring you. I'm probably in my journal, working through why I pulled away, analyzing my patterns, consciously choosing different responses. The dedication I had to this work was real and deep. The commitment to becoming better was genuine. But silence about that work made it invisible to you. The conversation we should have had. I'm taking this seriously. I'm investing time, money, energy into becoming a better man. I'm reading every book, trying every tool, doing every exercise that might help me heal. Because you're worth that effort. The Eight of Pentacles shows focused, solitary work. And maybe that's why I didn't tell you, because the work felt like something I had to do alone. But the mistake was not letting you know it was happening. The honesty that would have changed your perspective. I'm not the same man I was when we met. I'm actively evolving. And every day I'm getting closer to being the partner you deserve. It's not happening overnight, but it's happening. You thought I was stagnant, unchanging, not growing. But the truth was the opposite. I was in the most intensive growth period of my life, dedicating myself to transformation with the focus of a craftsman perfecting their art. The vulnerability I should have offered. This is hard work. Facing yourself, changing lifelong patterns, learning entirely new ways of being. But I'm doing it. For me, yes, but also for us. Because I want this to work more than I've ever wanted anything. If I could go back, I would show you the work. Not to prove myself, but to let you see that my love for you was active, not passive. That I was fighting for us, even when it looked like I was doing nothing. The words that should have been spoken. I know you can't see it, but I'm working on myself every single day. Building the foundation that will let us have the relationship we both want. And I need you to trust that this work is happening even when you can't see the evidence yet. That's what the Eight of Pentacles is showing me I should have said. That's the dedication and effort I should have made visible instead of hiding. And I hope knowing about that work now makes a difference. Final confession. Finding my voice too late. So here it is. The three truths I held back when speaking them could have changed everything. The celebration and commitment I wanted to offer you but was too scared to promise. The patience I needed but didn't know how to ask for. The work I was doing that you never knew about. The Four of Wands, Temperance, and the Eight of Pentacles together tell the story of a man who had everything he wanted to say but couldn't find the courage to say it. A man who wanted to build a home with you but was afraid of failing. A man who needed time to find balance but didn't want to ask you to wait. A man who was dedicating himself to becoming better but thought the work had to be done in secret. And the tragedy is that these words, these truths, they could have changed everything. If I'd told you I wanted to build a life with you, you wouldn't have felt so uncertain about where you stood. If I'd asked for patience and explained what I needed, you wouldn't have experienced my hot and cold behavior as rejection. If I'd let you see the work I was doing on myself, you would have known that I was fighting for us even when I seemed distant. But I stayed silent. And my silence hurt you in ways that words never could have. I'm finding my voice now. Maybe too late. Maybe after too much damage has been done. but I'm finding it because I finally understand that loving someone means being brave enough to speak your truth even when it's terrifying. These are the words I wish I had said. These are the truths I should have spoken. And if you're still listening, if there's still a chance, these are the words I'm saying now. I want to celebrate you and build a home with you. I need patience while I find my balance, but I'm committed to the journey. And I'm working on myself every single day to become the man who deserves to love you. That's what I should have said all along. That's what the Four of Wands, Temperance, and the Eight of Pentacles have shown me. And I hope it's not too late for these words to matter. Your divine masculine, finally finding his voice.